You hear that? That's the awkward silence of a family dinner after you just got caught vaping. Most vapes contain high levels of nicotine and disappointment. Brought to you by The Real Cost and the FDA.
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. In today's episode, I wanted to do an episode questioning video game developers because here's my issue. When I play a video game for the first time and then I'm having all this fun, it don't matter what type of video game it is. It could be a racing game, it could be an adventurous game, it could be a first-person shooter, third-person shooter, it could be whatever game that exists in this current day and age, right? Any video game. And for some reason, you know, they have it where it's I feel like it's a system. I feel like it's a fixed system where they, of course, you know, pull you in to make it seem like that this is going to be the funnest game ever. Like, there's some games that I can name off where it's like, it was seriously the greatest start to a video game series. And then at some point in time, what's crazy is that there's games that I've played where it's been good at the start and then just out of nowhere just became trash. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's just me being short-tempered with video games, but I'm like, a video game shouldn't be designed like that. A video game shouldn't be designed to cause you to rage. And I'm like, bruh, I can think back all the way when I was a kid, when there was video games out there where I'm like, you know what? If the best that they can do was back then, and I feel like back then was like, you know, that was like top tier gaming. But if that is the best that they can do now, because I'm not saying that every PlayStation 2 game that I played or every Xbox 360 or PSP, like all the games before Xbox One and PlayStation 4, I'm not going to say that all of them were good because there were some that I played that were bad. But the majority of the games that I played on my PSP, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Game Boy Advance. I'm trying to think of some other games that I played on different, you know, like consoles and stuff. But regardless, those games were good. And then it seemed like that at some point in time when the Xbox Ones and the PlayStation 4s and PC gaming started becoming more of a thing, it really seemed like that for some reason, game developers just stopped caring. And that's why I'm questioning video game developers, because I want to ask an obvious question. Do you care about your video games? Because if not, bruh, stop developing games, having it where people spend their hard-earned money on a game just for the game to be trash. Because I don't like being scammed. I really don't. And I don't know how many times I went out and bought a game thinking, oh, this is going to be like some next level stuff, just for a developer to come out and say, oh, we're done working on this game. And they haven't even done nothing to the game. For an example, the one video game, Anthem, I thought that was going to be the future. Guess what? EA decided that we're going to stop working on that game because it was too much to work on, or whatever their excuse was. So why do you guys still got the game available? And what's crazy is that EA knows what they're doing. They know that they want to make as much money as they possibly can off of that game. A dead game, pretty much. Yeah, all that stuff still exists, all the stuff, the stories, all that. So yeah, but my thing is this. You guys aren't doing anything to the game. So why continue having it in stores? That game needs to be pulled from stores. If it hasn't been pulled already, it needs to be pulled right now. Because they came out and said we're never going to work on this game. So why have that game still exist? For what reason? Just so that EA can make more money. And that's why companies like EA, I'm like, I wonder about you guys, because I'm like, what's the whole point of releasing games if you guys, it ain't even EA though. It's a bunch of developers out there. So I'm not going to throw EA under the bus too much. Like, but there's still some room under that bus for them. Because I'm like, nah, bro. It confuses me that here I am being just a gamer, right? And I can play all the different broken or bad video games, and I can tell them, the developers, why or what's wrong with that game and how it can be better and why people don't overall like the game. But it just seems like that stuff like that doesn't even matter to a developer. They can release a game that gets 1 star, right? 1 star, and they're already working on the next game. The reason why I say that, Call of Duty, for an example. I guess for some reason they're coming out with another Call of Duty. And I'm like, bro, you still got a Call of Duty that needs working on. So why would you guys come out with a game if there's still a game that you have out right now that still has, because you have to sit down and think about it. This is something that I've mentioned before, where today's, like, I guess, like, logic with video games is to release what you got and work on it throughout the time, and up until the customers are satisfied, or up until you guys come out with a part 2. Now imagine if it was like that with a lot of stuff in this world. Not even with a lot of stuff, with everything in this world that exists. Imagine if they had showed you, like, let's say you're going out and you're trying to go buy a house, right? You go out and buy the house, and I guess sometimes people, they're into stuff like that, where they buy a house that's not fixed up all the way, but whoever it is, they're still working on it. But imagine if all houses were like that, where it's like, oh, you gotta sleep without a roof because we haven't finished installing the roof, and we don't plan on putting that installation in 3, 4, 5 months from now. How would that make you feel? Because that's literally what goes on with video games. How would that make you feel if you went out, let's say this was back in the day when buying CDs were still a thing, you know, from musicians and stuff. And let's say you still pay full price for that CD, but they only got 1 song on there. And then they're like, oh, as the months go on, then we'll release all the songs that need to be out for that album. You're not going to appreciate that. Let's say you go and you buy yourself a bunch of food from a fast food restaurant, and they give you 1 fry, 1 nugget. They don't even give you a burger. They just give you the 2 buns, not even 2 buns, just 1 bun. They're giving you, you're asking for a number 9, a number 7, 2 number 5s, a half of a number 2. You're asking for all these different things, and they only give you 1 of each thing that exists out of that meal that you just ordered. Then you go and ask for a soda, and it's like, okay, I don't know how you guys can mess up on the soda. They only put 1 drop of soda in there. The thing is this, they don't even give you a cup, straw, lid, nothing. They don't even give you the little paper that comes with the straw, where it's like you gotta like hit the straw on the table to take the little paper off. They don't even give you that. They seriously tell you to hold your hand out, put like a little like hand sanitizer drop size of some Sprite in your hands, talking about, oh, come back up here 5 months from now, and then you'll be able to get the rest of your soda. That's literally what goes on in video games. I don't think too many people really pay attention to what goes on, and I'm like, man, I wish I can explain it to people, but that's what goes on with video games. Like, developers release, okay, $60 video games, now $70 video games, because they didn't decide to raise the price for some reason. Because now these next gen consoles done came out, we feel like that we deserve more money, even though we're not doing nothing with the game, which is crazy to me. But anyways, they're releasing $70 video games, but they come out with an update after update after update after update, and I'm like, fam, why does this game have so many updates? Why can you guys not come out with just one big giant update that fixes everything? What do you got going on in this game to where if, let's say, if this game were to get released like 10 years ago, you wouldn't see all those updates? You would not see half, probably not even, you probably wouldn't even see 70 to like 80% of the updates that exist today with video games. I can check literally. Probably no. The funny thing is, it's like earlier today, I'm getting ready to stream the video game Fortnite. Guess what? Random update. I literally had Epic Games open yesterday. They could have had this update drop at any given point in time. Pretty much what they did, and they decided, let's wait right until he's streaming, and then just out of nowhere, update. And I'm thinking to myself, why is it that there are games that exist, right? And they've been out for some time, and they rarely get updates. Like, if they do get updates, it's usually because they're installing new content. But it's like, when I see some games get updates, they're doing it because, this game has some bugs in it. Oh, there's some patches that we're working on this, we're working on that. And it's like, why didn't you guys not work on that stuff before the game even came out? Like, how is it that you guys, you claim that you are so into working on video games and game development and all that crap, and it's like, bruh, I have yet to see developers actually sit down and take the time to even remotely care about a video game that they're working on. I'm saying there's companies out there they release games and they don't ever work on them. They don't do nothing to them. And that's why I'm questioning video game development, developers, all that stuff. Because I'm like, what is going on behind the scenes? What are the conversations like? That's what I would like to know. Obviously, I feel like that stuff's not going to get out to the general public, because if so, I feel like a lot of video game developers and companies will be shutting down. Or they have it where it's like their sales would literally plummet. Companies, games will probably won't have any active users. I'm telling you, I feel like if what was really going on behind the scenes were like just to come out in the middle of the light, I guarantee and I promise you, a lot of these video game developers, I guarantee and I promise you, if like what was really going on with Call of Duty, where the like really, because the whole idea of gaming today is just to put more and more money into the game. You can't, it wasn't like how it was back then where it's like you literally just spent $50 on that video game and then the only time when you have to go out and buy another one is when the sequel comes out. But that's the thing though, back then in the PlayStation 2 era, in the PlayStation 3 era, Xbox 360, I'm trying to think, they might have introduced video game updates back when the Xbox 360s and PlayStation 3s was out, but I had my PlayStation 3 for like maybe 3 years. Okay, 3 years before I had got Wi-Fi. Never once was there ever a time where I went to go play that game, any game, for those 3 years, and there was like, oh, update. So that's why I'm like, I don't really remember updates back then. Back in the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 era. I don't remember. And updates wasn't even heard of during the Xbox and PlayStation 2 era. So that's why I was like, bro, what happened from video game development back then to video game development now? Because I'm like, you guys can do what you were doing back then and people are going to love it. People are going to enjoy it. That's why, and if people wonder why, there's no more, of those, you know how like in GameStops when a game will be coming out and then there would be like those super long lines waiting for the game. That don't happen no more. Why? Because it's like, bruh, if the developers don't care about the video game, why should we have so much care in the world for a video game? Like when a video game comes out, yeah, there would be people playing it and stuff. But after a while, it's like when you see all the bugs and the issues and the problems that game has, and then it's just super unplayable, you're not going to want to play that game no more. You're going to be like, nah, bro, I'm done. I have no reasons to continue playing this game. I am done. I'm moving on. Let me play a game that's actually fun. That's why if you go on Twitch right now, let's just go on Twitch, there's people playing games that came out like 10 years ago before, and it's people that's like, they're not even thinking of playing any new games that are out right now. But let's just go on Twitch and I'll count out like the games that came out like years ago and stuff versus like games, you got where there's people just doing like just chatting streams, Minecraft. What's this game? Honkai Star. I've never heard of that. DayZ, Dead by Daylight. That was kind of like a newer generation game, but still old game. People still playing it. Why are they not showing like I remember before they used to show like a bunch of now they just showing like the streamers. They're not even showing like the different all the different games. They're just showing like a few games. What is going on with Twitch? Now it's the video game development done got so bad. Now you got where like websites are acting up. Let me go on Kick real quick and see what like the old games that they got. So the funny thing is like speaking of Grand Theft Auto, because I know people will probably be all like, well, what about Grand Theft Auto? Because I know people know how I feel about Grand Theft Auto, and it's the thing is this. The developers of Grand Theft Auto, like literally, they came out with San Andreas, they came out with 3, they came out with Vice Cities, probably 4 being one of the greatest Grand Theft Auto games of all time, and then they came out with 5, and it was like when 5 had came out, when that story mode had came out, it was like, bruh, this is amazing, this is super dope. Like how is it that you guys came out with a game so good? Then when they released multiplayer, then it was like, oh my God, this is even crazier. This is wild. You can buy an apartment. You can buy 10 cars. You can do this. You can do that. You can do all these things. But as the time progressed on, they started patching stuff. they start updating. So I guess, yeah, updates were coming out a lot back then, you know, especially when Grand Theft Auto 5, because I don't know how many times they were coming out. People find a way to make more money in that game, and then for some reason Grand Theft or Rockstar Games is like, oh, well, we're coming out with a patch or an update to prevent that, because we don't want you guys to make. They have a game about making money, but they don't want you to make a whole lot of money. And if they do, if you want to make a whole lot of money, you guys sit down and put hours and hours and hours into that game. And what's crazy is that I was that person. I would put hours and hours and hours into that game. So many hours, to the point where I was like, bruh, I was up in the middle of the night. Me and my friends would be up playing that game like 3, 4 in the morning. Still ain't made nothing. There is at times where me in real life was richer than a video game character. And I'm like, bruh, this man is out here blowing things up, doing this, doing that. I'm saying, like, all the different things that they had in that game, but yet none of it was effective. None of it brought me, even with all these different updates that they be coming out with and stuff now, none of it brings me back to how I once was playing Grand Theft Auto. It doesn't. I'll play for a little bit, then after that, I'm like, I'm done. I don't need to play nothing else. There ain't nothing else worth playing. So and then it's like, then you ask them, well, what about Grand Theft Auto 6? No response. So that's why I'm like, hey, you know what? Video game developers, if you guys don't care about your video game, just stop working on video games. Do everybody a solid. Do everybody. I feel like that will probably bring more people into playing your video games if you guys were to come out and say, we're done working on video games. But actually stick with that. Don't just say that so you can bring people in and then just be out of nowhere like, oh, well, you know what? We see the love that we're getting and we're going to continue making. No. Go away. Far out. To where you guys are not working on games no more. If you're not going to be serious about the game, then stop working on them. Plain and simple. But if you're going to work on a video game, bro, come out with games like how games were coming out back in the day. Not like what you guys are doing now, where it's just nothing but a bunch of, we're out here buying patches, updates, and bugs. We're not buying a video game. We're buying something that's broke. How would that make, but like, again, though, you know, using an example, how would that make you feel if somebody gave you a shattered window and they were all like, oh, well, as the time progresses on, we'll put all the pieces together and it's like 3, 4, 5 years down the road, then that's when you have like a fully installed window. But now all of a sudden, brand new window done came out. Now you like that window. You didn't even get to enjoy that window all that time. And then it's like, okay, again, somebody done took a sledgehammer to it, broke it. Probably a working fine window at one point in time. Now all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, let's change it up. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's go and have it. None of that stuff is needed, bruh. None of it. Just give us working video games. That's it. Give us games that's worth playing. But it's like, don't have it where it's like at some point in time, we just lose interest in it. That's not how video games supposed to be, bruh. So I'm confused by that stuff, but anyways, yeah, that being said, I will talk to y'all later. I ain't gonna do no promo stuff because I'm a little hungry right now. So anyways, thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.